Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Contact Lost at our usual date and time. I know this one might have been a bit sudden, as wasn't announced like at least yesterday or anything like that, but hopefully you guys are getting used to the recurring time that we're actually doing this. My guest today is Malte of Team Germany. Hello.
Hello, nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks very much for joining. And today we're going to be talking about what's happening on the w- beyond the western border of our usual place of interest, which is obviously the country of Poland. We'll be talking about the Germans and what are they up to in terms of 40k. But before we do that, I must thank you to our sponsors, the Army Painter and Weyland-Yutani, as well as our community of patrons and YouTube members. So, what's Team Germany up to nowadays? Are they up to anything? Because I've heard rumors that not necessarily they are up to anything.
I mean, to be fair, we already visited the Pyra Cup um, in when was it? September,
No, it
September.
was last month,
Last
October.
yeah, time runs,
It
uh,
does.
and we had a really fun tournament. We always love to come to Poland to play on the Polish team tournaments. It's always perfectly organized. We had a lot of fun again, so we we, we do a little bit, but uh, usually after uh, WTC is over, um, where's some time where the German team builds a new structure, sets up new coaches if they need new coaches, sets up new players if they need new players. So this can sadly take some months in Germany, but we are near the end of the process. So um, from our side, we do a little bit.
So how does that work? Was the Team Germany attending the Pyra last month? Was it in any way official then? Was it like the remnants of the this year's WTC team, or what was it?
Yeah, exactly that. I was a coach for this year's WTC, and I knew what there would have been. I There we go. And knew that there would have been some team tournaments, and our process is already. I knew our process takes a bit longer, but I still wanted at least some of the German players to go on 8-man team tournament. So I had the idea that we go with half of the regular team from WTC, and we test out some new young players uh, that maybe haven't even played an 8-man team tournament or haven't even played a team tournament at all because we have don't have team tournaments in Germany. Or we have like a handful the full year.
Hmm.
So I wanted to use this opportunity to go to Poland to play versus the good Polish team players and have some of the young guys learn team tournaments.
Okay, sounds lovely. So, is this like a recurring thing that on a yearly basis the administration, let's call it, of the team changes, or and is this the case again, or is like Logan still going to be involved, yourself and the other guys that were involved this year at the WTC?
Uh, we were a three-man team this year, considering coaching. Logan as captain and also as coach. Then we had Defred, David Szymanski, as head
Mm.
coach. Did this for many years, and myself as a coach. And sadly, neither Logan nor David are able to continue this year because of mostly private affairs. So I'm the last coach that is still on the team at the moment from
Mm.
last. Our organization process is always the same. The team that helped that not only did play at the WTC, but everybody who was part of the bigger team, etc., um, comes together after the WTC, and they vote for a new captain. Um,
Mm.
but we don't call it captain; we call it head of Team Germany, and the head of Team Germany is mostly only organizing things, organizing the structures, and we have the same head of Team Germany as last year. We voted Manuel again, Bell. Um, some of you may know him. He's a really experienced German WTC player who wasn't that active as a player in the last year, but is a little bit more active now. And he decided to build a new structure last year. Took a look at it and said, "I liked it, but some things I didn't like," and he wanted to change them again. So I don't think it's a yearly occurrence, but this time uh, in 2023 we built a new structure, and also in 2024 we built not a completely new structure, but a different structure.
Okay. Okay. Sounds interesting. And why is it taking you guys so long? Is it something you really need that much of a cooldown after the WTC, or just other things were more important, or just don't really even feel the pressure of needing to organize yourselves right away?
To be fair, that's not a question you should be asking me, but should be asking Manuel one. But I don't think it takes a lot of time. It's like, um, I mean, we are Germans. We need everything needs time. Everything needs time to be in proper order, and I think uh, might take a little bit longer until it's finalized. But now we have it nearly finalized, and I like the end product we are looking at. Like we have clear boundaries, we have clear, everybody knows what his role is. We have motivated people in all the right positions. Yeah, I believe it might take a little bit longer, but I think the structure will work, looks good, and we can just use it next year again. So I think this year is just a little time setback, but in the end, we
Mhm.
still try to build parallels. So we still try to go like some team tournaments like the Pyra Cup. The Nations Cup is coming up in December, and we will also go to the Nations Cup. And, to be honest, this is big for Team Germany because usually we don't go or did not go to other team tournaments than WTC, and
Mhm.
now we have finished the WTC and will end the year with two team tournaments already played.
Okay. Yeah, great. And the two events you've just mentioned, one of them is the Alpine Cup Nations, right? That's in 3 weeks, I think.
Three
And
weeks
then
looks right.
what about the other one? Are you talking the ETC or the other, the February Pyra?
I mean, this year, so of course we play also already played the Para Cup. We play now the Nations Cup, and of course
Ah,
we are happy to be invited also to the Nations Para Cup in February.
okay. And anything else in the calendar?
Hopefully, we'll be going to another Euro Trash, and then we will be going to Para Cup next year. So our plan is we try to visit every eight-man team tournament
Mm,
that was us in Europe until we go to WTC next year.
excellent. And what about the team event scene in Germany itself? So what's that like? Do you do a lot of team events?
No, no. Um, this is I'm not that super old in the German 40k competitive scene. Um, I'm now like 3 to 4 years in it, and when we started after Corona, or when I started after Corona, there were no team tournaments at all um, in the whole country, to be honest. And last year, well, not last year, this year, we got um, one big five-man team tournament. This was great. This was something that just had not happened before in Kassel because we Alpine Cup series um, did a tournament in Germany. So we finally got our first five-man team tournament,
Mm,
and the people loved it. People loved it, and some TOs did the thing like in Munich, you have two TO organizations, and one TO did a single GT, but he did it on a weekend after the other guys wanted to do a GT. So he said, okay, then I'm going to do a team tournament. So we have two different things, and now we had two big team tournaments, and we had one more in Dortmund and a small one over there. But I think in the end we had like 5 to 6 team tournaments, and I'm counting 3-man team tournaments
Hmm.
the whole year in the whole country, and which is 6 more than the year before. And
Yeah, so
it's something. It's working a little bit, but the usual tournament in Germany is a single tournament.
yeah, but at least you're getting the tendency you want to have more and more team events. And is there like, do you think there's any particular reason that singles events are more popular, or is it just that, or our teams are really on the rise and people just were unaware of the format?
I think it's completely on the rise. Like I said, we had 6 this year. The people loved it, and we had one big team tournament. And already for the next year, we have 4 big team 5-man team tournaments scheduled. We have a big team tournament scheduled uh, right next to Poland in Leipzig in Saxonia. With they plan on having 300 men with teams there. So I think the future looks bright for team tournaments in Germany, and I'm really happy about that.
Okay. And who organizes the team events then? Is that mostly like the Alpine Cup brand expanding, or do you guys have like your own, I don't know, independent TOs, let's call them?
We have some independent teams. Of course, the Alpine Cup is expanding. I think they are planning on maybe even up to 3 big team tournaments in the next year in Germany. But also, we have a second big um, tournament series, the German Major Series, who did like our first super major in like 15 years or something last year. And they are
Mm,
also planning on doing a big team tournament. And if it works, maybe they will do even more. And I hope they do.
okay. Okay, cool. And what about the singles scene? Is there like a, because you mentioned the German majors, is that like a tournament circuit? That's the expression I was looking for. Do you have any rankings, etc.? Is there like real competition around that? Is it structured in any way?
Yeah, I was personally involved in. We already have a T3 ranking, of course, for a lot of years. And in the last 3 to 4 years, we built another ranking just for singles that counts your best 5 tournaments you played in the year, counts number of rounds you played, number of players you played, so a little bit like ITC. And it worked. It worked really, really well. It motivated a lot of people to play to get their 5 big tournaments in. We started last year with best infection for all the 23, or I don't know how many factions we have for all the 23, 25 factions. And also that motivated a lot of people to go out, play the faction they love on their tournament. And yeah, we have a channel Breaking Heads, and every Monday we sit there and talk about the results of the weekend and take a look at the ranking and take a look at who's now best infection Wotan or best infection Death Guard. Um, we also have a team ranking that doesn't count team tournaments, I have to say, but instead it counts your best game, your best tournament for the team you registered for the tournament.
Hmm. Right. So it is a. Am I understanding this right? That you've got a teams ranking as well, but it's not based on teams events. It's
Yes.
based on how people from the set teams perform in singles.
I mean, to be fair, we had like one big 5-man team tournament. So our team ranking, if we would have a
Yeah,
team
would be
tournament,
just the rank from the event.
must have been, yeah, top of 5-man. Maybe next year when we have like 4 to 5 big 5-man team tournaments, it'll be great. And yeah, thank you, Gaius. But people are fighting like hell for the season best infection awards. Our season ends uh, on the last November weekend, and like usually this would have been okay. Yeah, it's winter. We will have maybe a grand tournament somewhere, and now we have okay. With TO is saying, okay, I will still do a major with 6 rounds on this weekend, and everybody's coming from all over the country because it's the last chance to get the points in to still secure the best infection award. The cool thing we have is our best 12 players in the ranking do come into the playoffs, and they play an RTT in January with a group stage and a little bit of Champions League-like feeling, and play for the title of German champion. So it's also
Mhm.
a big motivation to get your tournaments in, to beat your strong opponents, and in the end you get this event where you play 5 games versus the best player in the country, and yeah, everybody tries to get into the tournament.
Yeah, so like a final invitational finals kind of thing.
Right.
That's sounds really cool. I mean, there's definitely potential to hype it up, right? The Swedish guys do something similar as well, so that's pretty cool. Um, and what of the player attendance at these events? So do you get a lot of people attending in general, and is that also something that's a rising tendency, rising numbers over
Uh,
the last year or two?
to be honest, the German scene is still really small. We have around about now we have now around about 2,000 people. Yeah, a little bit more than 2,000 people who played at least one tournament because, like I said, we have all the tournaments in the ranking, so we can just take a look at it.
Hmm.
And but this is 800 people more than 2 years ago. So our tournament attendees are rising. They are not going sky high or something, but we have a lot more tournaments every year. We had a lot more majors and grand tournaments this year than in 2023, and 800 more people. And also the level of the game has really risen in the last 2 or 3 years. Like if you want to land in the midfield of one of our single tournaments, you have to be a good player. If you're not a good player, you will not reach the midfield in the tournaments, and this is really fun because every game you can lose. Yeah, thank you guys. And
Okay.
every sold out. Like we had one of our greatest tournaments this year, the Raccoon Rumble,
Mm.
with 200 players, and they were sold out in I think like 3 to 5 minutes or something. Um, uh,
That's
yeah,
impressive.
and they are not the only one. Like we have our traditional big tournament, the Hanseatic Alliance Open, and they are sold out in hours or minutes. And we even had our, like I said, we even had our first super major in I don't know how many years, like 15 years or something like it, with 400 people. Um, and this is crazy for because for if we reached 100 players on a tournament 3 years ago or 2 years ago, even, this was one of the biggest events you had in
Mhm.
the whole year. And nowadays, it's like, yeah, it's a major with 100 people. Okay, we have 2 of these every month. That's nice. It's like new normal.
Great. Yeah, that sounds great. And do you get like different faces at these events? You've mentioned the 2,000 people, but have they played? And does that include RTTs, or is it 2,000 unique attendants of a GT scale event or bigger?
No, no, no. It includes it includes every person that played one RTT the
Hmm.
whole year. So, like I said,
Got it.
it's still a small scene. We are uh, compared to some other European countries, compared to the German population. It's a really really small game. It's a small pool, um, but it's growing.
But it's getting there. It's getting there. One day you'll catch up, right? And so, in terms of the game itself, what does the meta at these events look like? What factions are popular? What factions perform well? I have this impression that Votan are unbelievably popular in Germany, despite you guys inducing some home rule ban when they were initially released. So, um,
Please don't do one. Just remove one if you don't like. To be honest, I think what we did there was completely right, and uh, the voting codex was too strong that it came out, and I was happy that our TOs did what they did at that time. Um,
uh,
well, it's I don't know when did the first voting codex come out, or when did
it was in mid ninth, something like that.
yeah, no, something. Yeah, we are. Uh, Germany is deeply in the Wotan meta. we are super confused by the rest of the world, not being dominated by Wotan. Um, and it's not like it started with the Ryan Nexus or something. Like it started in Leviathan. Like, or a good player have a Wotan list, but mostly stayed the same for 6 to 7 months now. And our good players go to our big tournaments and they will finish on top. Or you will have to beat them to win the final, or they just win the final, or they play a mirror in the final. All of these things happen. And I don't know what I can tell you. Like our race for place number 1 in the ranking, uh, most of the year was also a race for best infection Wotan, because number 1 and number 2 were Wotan players, and so and we still have 2 other Wotan players in the top 12. So it's like, yeah, Wotan really strong in Germany.
Strong vote, and okay, that's interesting. And actually, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe 3 guys, maybe 3 guys who can play really good. And the interesting thing for my part is because, as you maybe know, where's okay, you know it of course, where's the World Championship of Warhammer in Atlanta at the moment, and so we have also some of our Wotan guys flying over there and playing there, and Ray. There was, of course, the Swedish talked about it, and the US talked a little bit about these Wotan lists, and they are all like, "Yeah, okay, it's Germany. They play on WTC terrain." And the thing that changed in Germany in the last year, or maybe even in the last 2 years, is um, less and less tournaments are playing on WTC terrain. We are usually
I was
playing.
going to ask that actually
Yeah,
right now. So, what terrain do you play that Votan can really punish people?
it's mostly GW layouts.
Okay.
Sometimes variations. I mean, you also know the Alpine Cup terrains that are not really GW and are not really WTC, but
Hmm.
something in between. But most of the tournaments are running now GW layouts, and also the big majors are running GW layouts. So the Wotan are dominating on GW layouts, but also have really good results on WTC layouts.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, Interesting. But when you say GW layouts, does that mean there's like a huge pool of GW actual terrain, or if you've got something else manufactured? Out of curiosity, and if you know, that is.
Yeah, no, no. Something else manufactured usually. So it's the map layouts, but there's different runes every time.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, sure. And is it in any way standardized? So it's the same thing, the same kind of, height of ruins, etc., used across the country, or each TO to their own?
each TO usually has their own pool of layouts and runes they use.
Okay, right. So,
Apart from
what are
I think apart from the German super major, where I believe like every TO in the land gifted some terrain, so we had enough terrain to play on 200 tables.
Oh, come on, it's a community thing, right? So people have to chip in to create the biggest
Yes.
events. What about what other factions then are popular in Germany?
Uh, I believe the thing that I like at the moment is that there are a lot of factions that are rather popular and are able to win the tournaments. Um, we have Sisters on top at the moment. We have a player who just went 6-0 undefeated with Chaos Space Marines. We have Kevin Zollinger is also playing in Germany, so we have like the Black Templar, the Austrian Highway, the tank list, the Black Templar list. We have Crusher Stampede. I don't think there's like the one faction that's super popular apart from Wotan.
Votan, the anomaly. So, what do you guys think of the state of the game in general then? Do you broadly agree that it's in a pretty good spot?
I mean, in the end, it's GW, right? It could always be better. It could always be um, things like Aquilons coming out, not getting the nerf. It annoys us as it annoys everybody else. Um, but I believe the thing with what at least I have and some more people in Germany is we have a little bit more trust because, in my opinion, the balance team of GW is doing a really, really good job in the 10th edition. And yes, sometimes you have to play 3 months of Aquilons, but this is like, I mean, I remember editions before, so it's like, in my opinion, we are in the best possible state of 40k we have been.
Yeah, so didn't any TO come up with a home ruling for Aquilon? As after the Votan thing, you guys are sort of famous in the internet for fixing the game on your own. Maybe something to do with Aquilons. Any ideas?
I, to be fair, I think it's enough if they go up some points. They are a strong unit, and they just need. And I also like their rules. And the moment they lose the rapid ingress 3 inches and go up some points, it should be fine. To be honest, in my opinion. But
Yeah,
I'm not.
yeah, agreed.
I'm not like I'm playing Affection at the moment, but it's not annoyed by Astra. So um, I'm not. I'm a wrong person to ask. I like give me all the villains. Give me all the Russ. I have no problem with them.
Okay, got it. Yeah, and do you think that the GW layout? I mean, obviously they affect of what factions are good in your meta, but do you think that also can affect your WTC performance? Is it some sort of a hindrance, maybe?
Yes. So in my opinion, of course, because our single summons used to be WTC, and so
Mm-hmm.
people could go to WTC events. Um, but this year we of course we had the situation. Our team for the summer was built in February, and we had some players who were going to WTC who said, "Okay, I will not go and play on this major and train on this major versus the other good German players because it's a WTC. There's nothing to train here. Um, these maps are not doing anything for me. I'd
Mm.
rather stay home and train at home or play on TTS and play on WTC. So, of course, the situation is not the best for training for WTC.
Okay, understood. And what was I gonna say? There are other World Championships currently going on. How many players did you guys send for the 40K event? How many
Uh,
people decided to attend, and how many actual? I'll take a step back. How many golden ticket events did you have, more or less? And how many actual golden ticket owners decided to go? Do you have
so
that knowledge?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Give me a second. I'm just counting. 10, 11,
Okay.
12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19, 20. Okay, so we had like, uh, we should have 20 guys who won golden tickets.
Hmm.
And we only gave out, I believe, one ticket per event, so it should be 20 events. And a lot of the people that went last year and won a ticket decided not to go again. So the 8 guys who went this year, one of them was also last year in Atlanta.
Only one of them decided to go again.
Yes,
Okay,
because
interesting.
I mean it's Atlanta. It's US. It's an intercontinental flight, and
Yeah,
it's expensive as hell. It's just expensive as hell. This is like, okay, I can go to Atlanta and play the World Championship, or I can visit like 8 tournaments in Germany for the same money. And
it's a bit of a no-brainer.
it's a bit of a no-brainer, yeah. I think it's a cool it's cool. It's a great event, and wish GW all the best. But I think everybody would love it if we have a World Championship and they call it World Championship, but it should be in England. And it should be in Europe, and you should all just
Hmm.
fly and play in London. That's just my opinion.
Oh, I think I agree, right? Should be in the homeland of Warhammer would make more sense. But anyway, so how many of those eight
I'm
guys
sorry,
are?
Joker, but this is like so annoying. Like, yeah, we send some good players over there, but some of our best players, like Fred, like Bellman, etc., we have a golden ticket, but they don't want to go. So, and this is the same. This is not only the same for us; it's the same for England. Manichima is not defending his title. Nassim, whoever, nobody is coming. Nobody from Poland is coming to something that's called a World Championship. And I know you guys are focused on team, but of course, we would also love to play you guys in singles for a World Cup or for Crown of Europe later in the year or something. And it's
Mhm.
like, so for me, it's like a really great tournament, and I would love it to be like a real World Championship where all the best players from the world play. Like, do you want to be
Yeah,
called
and it's
while Liam VSL sits at home and watches the event?
yeah, that is a little bit detrimental to it, unfortunately. But out of yeah, you want
I've,
to say?
I've one question for you. Is that because I'm also interested, of course, in the Polish scene. So this would be my question, maybe to you, if I'm allowed to. Uh,
Go ahead.
why are you guys? I would love to see. I know team tournament is everything for Poland.
Hmm.
This much I know, but we never see you guys at the big singles tournament. Is there a reason? Is it just the team mentality in Poland?
But do you mean you don't see big singles events in Poland or
Like
Polish people
like I said,
attending
yeah,
singles
yeah,
anywhere?
let's LGT or something or Crown of Europe or um, the interesting titles that you can win in Europe.
So yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons to it, and obviously for each and every person it will be different, as in how each of these reasons weigh into it. One is money, not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Going westward is quite expensive. I mean, I've been at LGT as in a completely different role, but just looking at the cost of stuff there and thinking if I wanted to go and play, it would be like a huge investment. Like just almost like you've said about the cost going to Atlanta, right? I go to LGT and that's one event. I could do 6 events in Poland for that money, something like that. Um, and yeah, so that's one of the reasons. The other reason is a lot of people don't like playing singles because of the randomness that you can just run into a matchup that you probably will struggle to win, and once you lose it in the win draw lose system, you're out of the running. So what's the point? I mean, I think people should try to prove themselves in that scenario as well, and not like hide behind this sort of behind that reasoning. I don't really buy it, but that's just my personal opinion. I think those are like the two major reasons, really.
Yeah. I hopefully maybe something. I have a little bit hope that maybe something changes because also, of course, in Germany we have like big tournaments in Berlin and big tournaments in Saxonia, and they would just be better tournaments if some of the great Polish players just showed up and played versus our good German players. And I still have hope that maybe someday it works.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And even in the Polish events, we get more and more team events, less and less singles. Like the ratios changed. It's like, let's say we used to have 12 events, 12 GTs in the year, and now it's like 6 teams, 6 singles,
Mhm.
something like that. And the singles events are often disregarded by the people on from the national team, for example. So that then also is less motivating for other people to attend, right? Because if you can't face the best players there, sometimes maybe it's not going. I mean, for some, it's an easier path to victory, but for others, it's like, what's the point? I'm not going to improve my game going to this event, right? Because I'm not going to face the people that are better than me.
You're
So
playing it.
it's
You want
it's
to win a tournament, but you also want to win the tournament playing the best players you can play.
yeah, exactly, because that's where you get more satisfaction out of it, and it's kind of a bad circle kind of thing. But well, we'll see. Hopefully, we can break that.
I mean, it did not weaken your team tournament performance. So
No, at least that. At least we've got that going for ourselves. Um, Now, what was I going to ask you? Yeah, but you playing GW layouts is definitely helping the guys going to the WCW, right? So, do you think any of the guys have a good shot at winning the event? Looking at lists, etc., and the people that you know that have traveled in
um,
terms of their player skill, etc., etc.
I mean, we have a super young player, Tim Schneider, um, who is number 2 in our ranking. Who we have like won 8 round tournament in Germany this year. He won it before time, and he beat some of our best players the whole year. And he's playing 40K for 11 months now, so not even a year. So yeah, I think he has a shot.
Okay,
I wouldn't
so
call him a favorite, but I think he has a shot to go into the top 8 and go deep in the tournament and maybe even win
good. So you have your own golden child of 40K.
it.
We've got a guy we're nurturing because he can't afford going anywhere. He's so young, but maybe one day.
I'm looking forward to the Nations Cup in the Open to present him to the Polish team.
Excellent. How'd you go about creating the team for that event? And I know this is kind of an out of sequence question, but whatever. So is that already is the new structure already somewhat involved in creating that team, or how did it come
No,
to be?
sadly not. Sadly now we're starting. We now our heads our structure is finished. And now we start with a phase where players from all over Germany can try to get in the team and send in their applications. No, not applications. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
What's it called? Yeah.
Yep, right. And another question that is totally unrelated to the one before. What about you guys in traveling abroad? I mean, we've talked about the team events, but what about singles? You didn't get a lot of people going to OGT this year, for example. You're not okay. There aren't really singles in Poland that are maybe that much worth attending, but yeah, you get the drift. So, are the events in Germany enough for you guys, or what's up with that?
I think we shot ourselves in the knee with the ranking system. Um,
Okay.
it's super hard to get into the top 12, and if there's a big major in Germany, and you want to play for the German Championship, and you want to be in the top 12 of the ranking, you have to go and perform good.
Hmm.
So like, yeah, nobody went to London this year. Why did nobody went to London this year? But like, yeah, I believe Fred was doing it like last year or something, and some of our other guys,
Hmm.
because one of our big tournaments was this weekend, was on the same weekend as LGT. So everybody went to the Hanseatic Alliance Open, or
Okay.
maybe
Right.
week,
Yeah.
a week open. So um, um, and this is the same. I, of course, I cannot talk about everybody, but I can talk, of course, about myself. And when I started in 2021 or something, I love to go to Utrecht, to the big tournaments in the Netherlands. Uh, and to be honest, this year until now, I didn't even think about it
Hmm.
because I knew I have the major in Erkelenz, and I have a major in Bremen, and the major in Hamburg, and so on, and the super major, and so on, and so on, and so on. And so there's like, yeah, I think we just have a German circuit now, and for
Hmm.
singles, um, I think we had like 2 good guys who decided to go to LVO this year, but I don't even know who went to LGT this year. So um, international singles tournament doesn't look that promising for us at the
Hmm.
moment.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got your events, you've got people interested in them, you've got people attending them, they're selling out real quick. So, what more do you need in that scenario?
I, I mean, to be honest, of course, we would love to have more German player at international top tournaments, maybe even winning the top tournaments and uh, get a little shine on the scene because it's still a small scene. And to be honest, even with people in Germany, where you're like, okay, uh, if I watch a 40K battle report, what am I going to watch? People in Germany usually speak really good English, so I'm going to watch Art of War. I'm going to look what the Americans do. If I want to have a list where I can play versus my friends and I want to have a good list, I'm going to look what is, I don't know, Nick Nanavati or somebody playing. So
Hmm.
in the end, we are working on trying to get a little bit more shine, to get to showing up the German scene, also with our channel.
That's interesting because you've also got quite a bit of scene of content creators, I want to say. At least I know some, and I don't know any German, so I'm surprised that German people would actually go for English-speaking content, if you will, over the in-house one.
I mean,
Uh,
this is a result. I'm sorry to interrupt. But this is a result of the last 3 years, because everything was just looking towards the US, looking towards England, and now we have YouTube creators like Kings of the Hill, like Direct Priority, with the Barb. I cannot count everybody. Paintermancy, us of course with Breaking Heads,
mhm,
who try also to concentrate on the German tournaments, try to show the people the tournament player, the list they play, the interesting matchups, and and it helps. Of course, it helps, and like I said, every Monday we show the people these are the good players, these are the list they played, have fun using them at home.
mhm. Okay, yeah, that's great stuff. All right, Maut, I'm out of questions. Thank you very much for coming in. It was a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me to show and talk a little about the German scene. Uh,
Yeah, and good luck in Leuven in 3 weeks. Just
yeah,
don't beat Poland, of course, and then you're good.
no, no, no. This is all fine. Um, I don't know how it is possible, but my plan is that France and Poland will just draw, and we will just avoid both of them.
Nice. Always submarining. Just don't say it out loud. It's a good tactic. All right. For everyone listening to this, thank you very much for joining in as well. Consider liking, subscribing, etc., etc., because that's what drives us on to continue doing this. And perhaps consider becoming a patron or a YouTube member. Uh, that's it for today. We will be back next week at the usual, hopefully, time slot. With that, we bid you a goodbye.
Bye.